We have breaking news at this hour. The Israeli military says they are currently conducting extensive strikes in Gaza. The Israeli Defense Forces and Israeli Securities Agency say they are targeting terror targets belonging to Hamas. The strikes throw into doubt the fragile ceasefire that has held for nearly 2 months. The attacks come after President Trump issued what he called a last warning to Hamas last week to release all the remaining hostages being held in Gaza. The president said the U.S. was giving its full support to Israel to, quote, finish the job if the hostages were not freed. And just a short while ago, President Netanyahu said Israel will increase its use of force against Hamas going forward, accusing Hamas of repeatedly refusing to release the hostages and rejecting mediation offers. Here to discuss how this ceasefire agreement could fall apart and Israel's next steps is ABC News correspondent Matt Gutman, who joins us by phone right now. Matt, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just told the public why the ceasefire agreement broke down. Can you share that with us?
He basically said that Hamas, Stephanie, did not accept this Witkoff proposal. They've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now. It seemed that they got close at some point. It also seemed that the U.S. had been engaged in direct talks with Hamas for the first time separately from Israel. It's the first time that any U.S. administration had ever reached out and spoke directly to Hamas. Those apparently also broke down. And so at this point, the Israeli prime minister alerting the military, but also obviously the public, that the ceasefire has broken down. In fact, I spoke to a military official about 30 seconds before we got on air, who said that we've been in negotiations with Hamas. That wasn't working. The question now, Stephanie, is how extensive is this attack going to be? Is this just like a shot across the bow? Is this airstrikes that we're going to see tonight going into tomorrow? Or are we going to see tanks roll across the border into Gaza again, and at what strength? So I just got back from Israel on Saturday night, and multiple military sources there had been talking about another massive invasion of the Gaza Strip to rid Gaza of Hamas once and for all. And they said, instead of sort of the whack-a-mole that Israel had been playing with Hamas, where it would strike one area and then Hamas would pop up somewhere else, because Israel was engaged in multiple fronts at one time, fighting in Gaza, but also in Lebanon. This time they're going to focus all the forces inside Gaza at once and try to truly decimate the terrorist organization. However, obviously they've proven very elusive, and we've seen in these ceremonies that Hamas has come out in these crisp uniforms, AK-47s oiled up. They have new vehicles that appear unblemished from 18 months of war. So the question is, how extensive this is this, and how long does it last?
Houthi rebel targets in Yemen over the weekend. The Trump administration also warned Iran to stop funding their proxy army or suffer consequences. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl has more.
Dozens of U.S. airstrikes and missile strikes on Houthi targets over the weekend in Yemen left at least 50 people dead, the rebels claim. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz says Houthi leaders are among the dead.
This was an overwhelming response that actually targeted multiple Houthi leaders and took them out.
The attacks came after the Houthis warned they're about to start hitting ships in the Red Sea and other nearby waters again. Since the start of the war in Gaza, the Houthis have disrupted global shipping and cost billions of dollars with attacks on commercial ships in the Red Sea. They've also targeted U.S. warships. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on Fox News.
4 months ago, when we sent a ship through, it was shot at 17 times. Ships haven't been able to go through for over a year without being shot at. Freedom of navigation is basic. It's a core national interest.
On Truth Social, President Trump declared no terrorist force will stop American commercial and naval vessels from freely sailing the waterways of the world. Trump also warned Iran to stop backing the Houthis, writing, "Beware, because America will hold you fully accountable, and we won't be nice about it."